An offspring of connectivity through main roads and effective rural nodes through remote cities is a corridor town.
Strategic Framework 2012 to 2022, we have this aim of transforming this transport corridor into full-fledged economic corridors. So we'll develop the towns, the 3 towns in Quezon, Pomihan, Plin, and Dansavan. And so we will look at our towns to be clean, have good water, clean water supply, solid waste collection, wastewater treatment, and proper drainage, so that then tourists will come in and people be attracted to stay in the town. And also, we also be promoting small infrastructure to encourage small to medium enterprises, provide a little bit of microfinance so that the people can start small business and to help. And then also have the rural to urban linkages. So farmers, because you have towns developing, then your farmers can grow the food and to supply to the towns and where tourists is coming to stay. So I think this is very important, the rural to urban linkages. And going forward, currently urbanization in Lao PDR is about 25%. And it will, like other Asian countries, it will go to 50%. So now is a good time to start and to develop this urban, this corridor towns, so that they will be part of transform out the economic corridor. And this will come in due course. From a transport corridor, it will become a full-fledged economic corridor. Yeah. And for the East-West economic corridor, the Lao has benefit prior to, before the road was completed. Lao used to be a landlocked country before the Greater Mekong Sub-Regional Program that started in 1992. Now, 20 years later, we just celebrate the 20th anniversary of a GMS program. Lao is now from a landlocked to a landlinked country. And for example, under the East-West Economic Corridor or the Transport Corridor, Lao have through to access to the deep sea port in Da Nang and also to the deep sea port in Lam Chabang in Thailand. So it's very important for a landlocked country now with land link, with access to deep sea ports, so you can facilitate the exports of goods and also import of raw materials.
Right. Okay. Like yesterday, we went around the BCI project, and I sort of roamed around and asked the villagers about like their livelihood and stuff. And most importantly, I asked them whether if they owned a land, like legally, if their land, their house on the land, you know, have been registered with the, for example, with the national level, provincial level, or district level. Another question raised, whether the ASEAN Infrastructure Fund is being really implemented. So let's hear out more and also catch some updates from Dr. Chong Chinai about the Lao ownership of lands.
The ASEAN infrastructure is set up to help infrastructure. I think because you have to pay, it's a loan from the ASEAN Infrastructure Fund. So projects must have revenue earning projects to access that fund. So because the funds will have to be paid back, loans will have to pay back. So I think it's important when they look at certain project, has to be revenue earning. For Lao PDR, we're looking at a transmission lines project, power transmission, 500 kV for export to Thailand, and to be funded partly from the ASEAN Infrastructure Fund. So that
Is it related to the ASEAN Power Grid?
Yes, under the GMS power grid. So for export, and then the transmission grid can collect what we call wheeling charges, because you have a lot of independent power producers or public-private partnership, PPPs. For example, we have under the Nam Nguyen hydropower project approved by ADB board last year, and when it's they will export power to Thailand, and then through the 500 kV transmission line, then we can collect the wheeling charges, and then that, because it's revenue earning, then this project can, it's more feasible to borrow from the ASEAN Infrastructure Fund, because it will be a loan that has to be paid back.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you said that ADB trying to like diversify the economy within Laos, so local workers and labor don't have to actually move to Thailand to work, or move to Vietnam to work. But isn't it like this is another dimension of diversity, to have the mobility of labor across the countries? You know, since the ASEAN Economic Community actually supports the, free flow of workers, free flow
Yes,
of
fine.
labor.
I think at the moment there's a phenomenon because the movement of according to the Lao government, the phenomenon because the movement of according to the Lao government, it's about 100,000 of unskilled laborers. They are only seasonal migration because after they have planting the rice, they go to Thailand to do for odd jobs. What we want to do is, and then that's what we want is to create some skill label, help the government create through our technical and vocational training program. So they have skill labels like skilled carpenters, etc. And then they can support the small and medium enterprises in the country to diversify the economy. At the moment, the economy is driven mainly by the natural resource boom, hydropower and mining. So, but bear in mind, 50% of the population of Lao PDR is under 20 years old. And so we need to create skill labor in order to support and small and medium enterprises and in order to diversify the economy.
So ADB is supporting skilled labor in Laos. So that means that labor will be working, for example, in the establishment of special economic zones, because they're having these zones like all over the country.
Yeah, it can be any enterprises, even in the local businesses, because skilled labor like carpenters, skilled construction laborers, they can be. And it can include also a special economic zone where skilled labor is also needed. So, but it's to benefit more the whole country. Skilled labor like mechanics, repairing cars, motorcycles, etc. So it's the skilled labor is much more than just special economic zone. Yeah.
That is always the way to actually define what is sustainable livelihood is for the Lao people. Do you think so?
Can you say it again?
It's like you said that AB supporting the skilled labor within the country, so that Lao people can actually, work, have a second job apart from farming and stuff. So that means that this is the way to define the.
There are benefits to the country where it's appropriate, because like I mentioned, special economic zone, you require skill label. Is skill label available, etc. And where are the export markets? And you need to have a lot of things in place before foreign direct investment and private sector investors, especially foreign direct, it will come in. So it's in there. So I think they need to, special economic zone must generate employment and business.
For the local people.
And for the economy, and employment for the local, yeah.
So everyone seems to have almost similar questions, only at the district level only. So basically, if the government sort of, wanting to expand the special economic zones and then sort of gain the land back from can the government actually do that? Can you comment on it? Because I've seen cases, problems with the land eviction and people getting evicted from their own lands.
Yeah, and then our biodiversity conservation initiative, and then also the biodiversity conservation corridors project, the follow-on one. We are helping the villages and the community have land and titles, and that's important, community land, village land, and then they feel the ownership, and then for the tenureship.
So they have land titles?
Yes, under this we are helping them to work on it so that they can get land titles, community-based, and then the community will work on protect this, so that will be to the community. So that will have give them protection and give them so they can develop, and this is their land, and they can protect the environment as well.
That wraps up today's edition of Toward 2015.
You can watch us again every weekday, same place, same time, same channel. For today, สวัสดีครับ
สวัสดีค่ะ